Hi, Ann Novak here, Career and Resume Coach at the Career Center of the East Baton Rouge Parish Library. Today I want to talk to you about when to use an infographic and when to better use a text-based resume for your applications. Let's go and have a look. So, infographic resumes are resumes that use graphic design elements to spice up your document. In this example here that I took from a Microsoft Word template, very easy to use and very easy to find, you can see the use of bright colors and the use of graphic design elements right here with your name and personal information, the circle with your initials, for example, and at the bottom, the design elements where you put in your email address, phone number, and so on. Let's look at another very different sample, also a Microsoft Word template, that we would also qualify as an infographic resume, even though it looks much different and it actually resembles your traditional text-based resume a little more. But even here you see at the top of the page, your personal information are very well represented there in the boxes with the colors. Here in your contact information, you have the little graphic icons, and just the way all the information is divided up on the page and presented on the page is an infographic style. Now, in the range of infographic style resumes, I would put both of these more on the conservative end of the spectrum. Now let's take a look at one that is absolutely on the other side, on the more creative end of the infographic spectrum. Look at that. This template was taken from canva.com, and you can immediately see the difference. Here, whole sections that we usually have text to describe the skills and the interests have been substituted with graphic elements. Your skills right here, no words at all. And your interests right here, represented by icons. Now, on a little tangent, you could argue that interests and the wording references available upon request really don't need to be in a resume. I would say they shouldn't, but that might be content for a different resume. Today, we want to focus on our infographic versus text-based. So here you have an example of a very creative style infographic resume. Now let's look at text-based, and you can clearly see the difference, right? This looks very different on the page. This is your good old Microsoft Word style resume. This is one of the templates from our website. We call it the Basic Professional Template. This is a completely made up person. And you see it's mostly text. It has some very small design elements with the gray behind the section headers, but otherwise it has your key skills, your headline, and your reverse chronological job experience. Now, if you are more senior, you would use something more along the lines of this that we call our Advanced Professional Resume Template, also available from our website. And here you can see it looks a little different, although it still has the same building blocks: professional summary, headline, key skills. But you also see that it's perfectly fine to use colors to spice up the document a little on your traditional text-based resume. Now that you have seen examples of each, let's take a look of when it is advantageous to use one versus the other. Let's start with our infographics. So the pros are, obviously, it's very eye-catching. And it packs a lot of information onto one page. So if you have a longer work experience or many skills, instead of having a 2-3 page resume, an infographic resume might help you to pack it all onto one page. And obviously, it showcases creativity. So if you are in a creative field or in a creative role, you definitely want to look at using this style resume. But now let's look at the cons and they are enormous. It's this right here, the ATS, or the Applicant Tracking System. So Applicant Tracking System or Applicant Tracking Software is the software that is behind these online application systems that most organizations use these days. So what happens if you apply online and they ask you to upload a resume, they don't take a one-to-one picture, but instead they parse the information and then put it into their own template or format. And here is the deal. There are many different applicant tracking softwares, and a good number of them cannot read information contained in graphic elements. So if you upload a resume like the one right here on the screen, the applicant tracking software might not be able to read most of this. And when the recruiter looks at it, their fields in the view that they see might turn up completely blank. That is a risk you really do not want to run if you apply for a job. The other con is that these kind of templates can be very hard to manipulate. So let's say your specific situation is not well represented by the order of elements in this resume. And let's say you really do not want an interest section and instead maybe want to put on an awards section or a community service section. That can often be very hard to do with these kinds of templates. So, overall, you want to use infographic style resumes for networking reasons. For example, if you go to a networking event where you can hand a hard copy to another person, perfect. You can use it for that purpose. Or if you contact somebody by email, you can use this as an email attachment. That is perfectly fine. And you want to use it when you are in a creative field or creative role. But do not use it to upload it to an online application. Let's look at our text-based resumes, which are usually done in Microsoft Word or Google Docs. The pros are what we just discussed. Word-based documents are always applicant tracking system friendly. All the systems can read the information in this kind of resume. Now, there are two little caveats. Many ATSs cannot read information contained in a header or footer or a text box. So be very careful with using headers, footers, and text boxes on text-based resumes. Another pro can be it is more traditional. So if you are in a traditional industry, that might be the better fit. And it is easier to adapt to your specific situation. So for example, if in your case it is advantageous to put education at the top, it's very easy to take the education section and put it in front of your professional experience. Of course, there are cons as well. It can look boring compared to the nice, colorful infographic style resumes, and it can be very text heavy. So, you want to use a text-based resume for online application situations, and you want to use them if you're in a more traditional leaning industry. Now you know when to use which style resume. Good luck in your job search. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the content, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thank you.